Good morning, it's the 9th of July 2019, Tuesday morning. So we are preparing for London Open within the next 1 hour. As usual, let's start with risk warning. Guys, please bear in mind trading effects on margin. Trading crypto on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for investors. You can sustain loss of some or all initial investment, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Alright, guys. I'm pretty sure it's going to be busy day today. And the key driver might be the Powell speech later today, before the cash open, but during the New York session. So that might be very, very, very interesting. So overall, it might be all about the dollar today. In that case, we invited Michał. So we are going to try to connect with Michał within the next, something is wrong here, within the next few minutes. Let's try right now. Hopefully everything gonna be all right. All right, so we are connecting with Michał and we are going to discuss the situation in US with him, and then we will also discuss the situation on the dollar index chart.
Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait! Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Good morning, Michał. How are you doing?
Good morning, good morning. Hello, everybody. I'm fine. And you? Sleep well?
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Looks like everything is alright here. So the dollar is gonna be it's gonna be the whole attention, today's attention, all eyes on dollar index. We do have a Powell later today, so let's discuss a little bit about the US, especially post last non-farm payrolls. So over to you.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we will start about the last readings from the NFP, and it exceeded the most ambitious predictions. We had the biggest biggest growth than we saw the last time. And all about the U.S. economy is right now that the consumer incomes and spending are growing. The stock indices are at all-time highs. The consumer confidence is strong. Lately, also the U.S. economy was resisting the tensions from the outside, from the foreign political instability, like the trade wars, and it was resisting quite well. But I think they are still there. That it didn't finish, right? They didn't manage to meet Xi Jinping to settle a good deal. Right now, it's like a truce between US and China at the moment, and I think they will not be able to resisting all the time. I think that it will be hit with sooner or later, and we will see this on the next readings. I guess about the Powell shortly. I think if he will not touch the topic more specific about the lowering interest rates, I think it will not be so much. It will not affect the market so much. It will not the market will not gain volatility and will not see bigger moves about during this speech. That's my opinion. But still, there are many about the Fed. There are many the pressures political from the Trump side. Also, those tweets and statements that Fed was should not raise interest rates so quickly and so high until this time, till this moment. They are too precautious in his opinion, and I think also that in a country like US, the tweets and statements like this will not affect them. It will not influence for the decision. And do you mind to show us the dollar index chart, as we can also talk about it?
Okay, so I'm going to switch to dollar index chart. I'm going to discuss the situation on the chart.
Because lately, the dollar was strong, so maybe.
So let's have a look what we have. Let's have a look what we have on the chart right now. Give me a second, please.
Yeah. I will say that I want to add to this about those tweets and the pressure from the Trump side. I think that the U.S. are not the Turkey when Erdogan fired his central bank governor. Yeah. During the elections, when his party didn't win, he ordered to make the elections again, and so yeah, I guess
banana republic, all right.
Yeah.
The thing is, what I've been because we can agree that Mr. President Trump previously he was a businessman. We can discuss if it was good or bad. Doesn't matter. What I'm talking about, what I'm trying to say is that if we are talking about the U.S. economy that is doing well, especially when we see the tweets from the Mr. President Trump perspective that, wow, America great again, then America cannot be great again without the strong dollar, right? So trying to put the pressure on the Fed that they should do what other central banks are doing currently, so weakening their currency. I think it might not be the case here because it might be trying to put the pressure on Fed right now. And if the White House administration is gonna to be the winner of that fight, that might put big pressure on the dollar from the long time perspective. So in that case, I think Mr. President Trump should be happy that they have a strong currency, and mostly for now because of how the economy is doing. That's the way I see the dollar. Anyway, let's have a look what we have on a dollar index. That's the weekly chart. The most important thing, the most important development after the payrolls last week, I think it's a last week close. And if we are going to take into the consideration this broken trend line, right? So what happened last week, it was moved back and close above. In that case, we were discussing this stuff over the course of the 3 educational webinars in June. In that case, if you have a situation like this, we need 2 points to have possibility to draw the trend line, any kind of the trend line, right? Then usually when there is a third approach like we had a month ago, right? Usually there is some kind of, so let's say that was the first, second, bounce, third. Usually when we have a third approach, it's like a retest of those 2 previous points, right? Usually we have some kind of the reaction, and that's what we've seen a month ago. Then next week there was a boom, strong breakdown. Now this rising trend line should work as possible dynamic supply resistance, or whatever you want to call it. The most important thing is that you understand what we are talking about, right? In that case, we not only retest the line, but bulls were able to get back above this trend line. So now you have to try to imagine what is going on? There was plenty of sellers on the trend line break, right? So with the previous week close, again, above this trend line, plenty of weak sellers, as some may call them, plenty of weak hands are gonna be forced to close. So in that case, I'm not gonna be surprised if we are going to see the new high on the dollar index. So let me clean the chart for a second.
Yeah, you said that, sorry, that Trump should be happy, but I guess he's not. He's all the time talking about that the dollar should be weak. So I guess his logic is a bit different than it should be from your point of view.
I think that even from, you know, come on, from the traveling perspective, from the you know, it's when you have a strong currency, right, and you are visiting other countries, you are fine because you are not spending a lot of your own currency, right, when we are trying to exchange. Plenty of different reasons, but okay, I'm not gonna discuss with Mr. President Trump. Anyway, so in that case, there is a chance that we might see a new high. So again, important development is last week close, right? In that case, especially that we got back above the rising trend line, there is a chance that the weak sellers, because they will try to close their shorts, they might try to put, actually they will work as a bullish force, so they may push prices higher. In that case, as you can see, red line, meaning that we are talking about the monthly chart, we have possible supply around 99.50 based on the monthly chart. But let's switch lower. Let's talk about short-term time frame, and in that case, let's switch to the daily for a second. All right. Now the daily chart, based on what we've seen, right? Because of this moves, right? Now let's have a look where we are from the bounce perspective. Looks like we are fighting, right? Just trying to compare the moves, right? So we had strong dollar sell-off at the very beginning, late May, beginning of June, right? Then there was a quite nice bounce and another sell-off, right? The sell-offs distances were the same. So right now, talking about the bounce like we had here, so looks like we are fighting around the top of this previous bounce. Now it's not only when you are trying to measure the moves, it's also where we are from the possible supply and demand perspective, just purely based on the chart right now. Here, let's clean the chart here. So right now we are testing again supply, right? If we are going to translate into euro dollar later on, because we will switch to euro dollar, no worries guys. So right now, based on this rally, based on this base over here and the huge drop here, we are testing the possible supply. So it's gonna be very, very interesting afternoon, especially that we have a Powell twice, today and tomorrow. So in that case, it's worth to watch, especially what we are going to discuss within the next few minutes about euro dollar. And the last one, let's switch to the hourly chart. Let's switch to the hourly chart and let's have a look what we might see around the London Open. So that's the 1 hour chart. I do believe that we might try to rise another 20 ticks higher towards 97.60. All right, it would be nice over under. Right now we are testing the bottom of this candle over here. So we did it over the course of payrolls. Retest right now. So what I would like to see here, just taking into the consideration post non-farm payrolls price action, I want to see as dollar seller, for example, if I'm gonna be bear here, I want to see break higher with strong rejection, retest, and continuation to the downside, right? So buyers, don't chase the market here because the plenty of possible short-term supply. So where the buyers should try to step in. I think that the pullback towards psychological 97 level, so 40 ticks from now, that might be the solution. So don't chase them, don't chase the market here on the dollar index. Michał, going back to you, because as far as I know, you have something for us, something more.
About the euro dollar, just also shortly, I guess that the ECB hasn't got that pressure from any side. So I think it will be based on bulls and bears, where will we go at the moment on the chart, and the price will go. But lately we saw that in almost every euro country, the PMIs were very weak. Mostly in the Germans. On the German PMI was weak. It's the powerhouse in Europe, right? The biggest economy. So I guess it will also mean that the ECB, I think, maybe adding to the stronger dollar can be weakening. And also, you're on the chart, great. But also, okay, that will be on the China. So let's discuss also the ECB.
All right.
Okay.
Especially the PMIs in Europe are ugly like hell, right?
Right.
Yeah. So in that case, we don't have to have a pressure on ECB, but anyway.
Yeah, it will.
It has to affect. Anyway, from the chart perspective, where we are on euro dollar right now, taking into the consideration the daily chart here, right? So let's have a look what we have. We were discussing this few times already, right? The latest two moves up, two waves to the upside were equal. When we are talking about the distances, were equal, right? As you can see, like this, it was equal move. Right now, the move to the downside here on euro dollar is a little bit longer than what we had before, in my opinion. We already broke that one, right? So it's a little bit different on the dollar index, and it's a little bit different here on euro dollar. But taking into the consideration the latest move to the upside, right? So we had a drop based rally, right? So right now we are testing this possible demand around 1210, 1180, and the small bounce here cannot be ruled out, right? Especially if we are going to take into the consideration the possible higher volatility around the Powell speech. All right. The second thing is that we are during the summer holiday, so the liquidity might be lowered, so the volatility might be a little bit higher. So in that case, I think that something the halfway of the drop during the or post non-farm payrolls, that might be the case here in euro dollar. Overall, from a little bit higher time frame perspective, I think as long as we are below pre non-farm payrolls high, so we are talking about this intraday chart, and we are talking about these levels over here, right? As long as we are below these levels, the bounces are gonna to be sold, the rallies are gonna to be sold, in my opinion. We need, from the bulls perspective, we need to take out pre non-farm payrolls high as well as 113 based on a daily close. Only in that case the bulls, the buyers might neutral this downtrend right now. To the downside, if we are going to, as a bears, if we are going to manage to break 1180, the next possible target is something around 1135, 1115, but I would say the way is gonna be open down towards psychological 110 level, where we do have possible demand based on the higher time frame from the weekly time frame. As you can see, the blue zone over here. So as of now, for now, as long as we are below pre non-farm payrolls high, I think the bears got the bigger chance to push the prices lower. Over to you, Michał.
So as we spoke before on the chart, it's also agreed with the fundamentals. The last thing I want to add today, later we will have in the night the China Consumer Index. In last month it was 0 points, so without a change. But annually it's still 2.7%. And this reading may have a big influence on the commodity currencies like CAD, New Zealand dollar, and mostly the Aussie dollar, which is the China, which is the biggest business partner, economic partner of the Australia. As we spoke also before in the last week, we are talking about this steel industry and the iron ore from Australia. So bear in mind that if you are yesterday we were posting on our Telegram chat the trade idea for the Australian dollar, but against the New Zealand dollar, which gave yesterday in the evening, as I was looking at it, around 100 pips. So I will also paste the link for the Telegram chat later after we were done speaking. So if you want to have stay contacted with Peter and also me, you can join the chat without a problem, without a hesitation. So the China, Euro, Fed, and later I guess we will also be contacting, right, Peter?
Yeah, that's true.
Around 2 p.m. CET, and we will discuss the Powell speech.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, you are more than welcome to join us this afternoon. Again, we started 2 p.m. CET, right at the New York Open, and 2:45 p.m. CET, we do have this Powell speech, and right ahead, something like 2:15 p.m. CET, we are going to connect with Michał. Michał, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to hear you again.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, have a great London session.
Thank you, and see you later. Later during the day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. All right, as Michał mentioned, during the next Tokyo session, we are going to get the inflation number from China. So let's have a look where we are from the Australian dollar perspective. Post RBA, we saw this strength, Australian dollar strength, attempt to rally, but we were discussing 70-20, 70-50. That's the key for Australian dollar bulls, right? Looks like for now it was too much. There is a rejection, right? Rejection, and we are again around the place where we seen the weakness last time, all right? The only thing is that I have wrong weekly open. That's here. So looks like even here, looks like it's all about the market reaction after the Powell speech. We will see what's going to happen, because there is right now we are at the very, very important we are testing very important levels, right? So it's gonna be very, very interesting to see the reaction post Powell speech. In case of the breakdown, right, we might activate here on the chart, we might activate these sellers here, right? So it's all about the current level right now. Let's switch to the smaller time frame. The last chance for bulls is trying to hold current levels, like, you know, and we are testing the very, very important levels. So the solution for bulls is trying to build the feeling that we are trading the range, right? That we are trading the range. In that case, trying to consolidate current levels and trying to push the prices higher. We need to take out the weekly open, so we need to take out something around 69.75, 69.80 to see the relief rally on the Australian dollar. On the other hand, taking into consideration the current price action, move and close below 69.50, 69.40, we might see a deeper pullback down towards 68, 66, 68.50. That's what we were discussing. Before. Next, dollar yen. Here we are testing possible supply based on the daily chart right now, right here, and we are talking about the yesterday. There is a fight going on, right? So there was a nice move to the upside, continuation after the payrolls, and right now, during the Tokyo session, we were trying as the bulls to take out yesterday high. That's what happened, but there is a rejection, right? So what we are doing right now, it's all about where we are going to be at the end of the day, right? It might be some kind of the swing high creation over here, especially that we are testing very, very logical place. We are testing supply based on the daily chart, right? So in that case, it might be, if we are going to see the rejection over here, some kind of the swing high creation. So how does it look like from the intraday perspective? So this rising candle over here during the Tokyo session, that's the key in my opinion right now, okay? The thing is, let's make it that way. The bottom, we tested the bottom of that candle, right? There's an attempt to bounce, and right now we are retesting yesterday high. I do expect some activity from the seller side here, right? But it's a little bit speculative. More conservative might be patient, wait for a breakthrough 108.70 or even 108.60, right? But anyway, some bearish activity might be in place around current level, especially that the distance between entry and the stop is not that big here. Next, cable 2480 is a key here, and if we are going to go through these levels, right? We are talking about what we have here, then 120 next stop. So it's all about daily close around 2480. If we are above, better. If we need 25, if we are above, then the relief rally possible in case of breaking and closing lower, right, towards 120 on cable. Let's switch to indices. Let's have a look what we have on a Nasdaq index. Let's start with daily chart. Almost there, I would say, almost there. Unfortunately, I haven't seen, I like the current price action to the downside. Unfortunately, there is one thing I missed personally. If we are going to take into the consideration this green border line over here, right? It was right to the point, right to the point. I haven't seen rally above, right? We were discussing, we want to see stop hunt to the upside, right? Above the trend line. Once we touch to the point, of course, I'm going to go over it much closer look into the details during our afternoon meeting, but I think we didn't hit the stops here. So this rejection right now, because of the exact touch of the line, it might work as a magnet, and we might see another attempt to rally, right? Another attempt to rally. Anyway, the thing post G20, the gap higher right now, of course, it's a pre-market price action right now, but looks like 7720, 7700 psychological level, closing the gap, and especially how we are going to close that gap gonna be important. So Powell, and then the end of the day might be the key here, right? From the intraday perspective, everything works fine based on what we discussed lately, especially post non-farm payrolls price action, right? So what happened here? That's what I missed on the daily, but we have similar price action on the 30-minute chart, right? So it was this trend line. Let's make it bolder. It was this trend line, 2 points, right? Stop count to the upside, breakdown, retest. Perfect situation, and now continuation to the downside, especially that we are breaking possible demand based on the daily. But right now, of course, is a pre-market price action, so I would be very careful. And the exact levels for Nasdaq we are going to discuss during our afternoon meeting. I'm not gonna be surprised if we are going to see attempt to break 7,700 right ahead of the US Open. And finally it's oil, and finally here we hit levels we were discussing. So there was a move back and retest the trend line, falling trend line, right, with rejection yesterday. The thing is here, right, I've been waiting for just few cents higher levels. I've been waiting for a little bit higher levels, so I'm not sure we are going to get there because of what we've seen yesterday. All right, but maybe because we do have EEA tomorrow. Anyway, we hit or we were very close to hit the supply zone. Again, we are discussing based on the higher time frame. We are discussing 58, 50, 59, 50. Here from intraday price action, we hit the line yesterday. We'll see if we are going to try to retest again a little bit higher levels, right? So yeah, we are going to discuss oil during the New York session as well. So the possible supply, no change, 58, 50, 59, 50. From the intraday perspective, possible demand, I think that we are testing possible demand from the intraday perspective right now. So I do prefer to watch crude oil during the US session, and I wouldn't say that is a rule. Don't take it as a rule. But sometimes whatever is going on ahead of the US session is completely opposite to what we have during the US session, right? So in that case, watch out carefully the levels around 57. If there are going to be the attempt to break lower pre-New York session, we might see the rally I'm waiting for during the New York session and hit 58, 50, 59, 59, 50 here on the oil and the gold. Still inside the range we were discussing last week. So I didn't cancel or delete the lines. Everything is here. The most important thing is from the bulls perspective and from the possible continuation perspective that we went lower, right below the 50% of that range. So right now we might see, especially around the Powell speech, we might see attempt to break lower here. So watch out the levels below 1380, especially that the real demand is a little bit lower down toward 1365, 1360. All right, guys, that's it from me this morning. Be very careful. Don't try to chase the market around the London Open. All right. You are more than welcome to join me later today, 2 p.m. CET. We are going to cover New York Open live, and we are going to focus on power and what's going to happen with dollar. Have a great morning session. Have a great London session. See you within the next few hours. Thank you. Goodbye.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.